We had a rock slide, the second largest in Yosemite's history, and we heard it in the middle of the night. And I called in the morning to the park dispatch about that, where the rock slide happened, and they didn't know a thing about it. In the afternoon, everyone knew about it. It was huge, and it completely covered the trail that goes around Mirror Lake, but otherwise didn't do any damage. But the following summers, they did blasting on that trail to restore the trail back again. Rock falls, when they happen, are pretty scary, and a lot of times you don't know where that rock is coming down, but we go down the hill. The angle of the sun has to be just right to create that effect. But you can see the colors right now in the waterfall on the right side in that spray, a little bit. It isn't really bright sun because the sun is covered by some thin layer of clouds, but you can also see a rainbow from the light of the moon on nights of a full moon. And you can photograph it also if you have your camera on a tripod and expose long enough. And on nights of a full moon, there are moonlight tours, and they have them on those open-air trams, and they're 2 hours long, and you go up to the tunnel and then stop at the swinging bridge picnic area, and people get off and walk out onto the bridge in the moonlight. Really popular on nights of a full moon. And we have these videos that are on the Yosemite National Park's Yosemite website. They're called Yosemite Nature Notes. And they're about 7 to 10 minutes long usually, and they're free, you can download them. There's climbing routes going through it called Heart Attack and Triple Bypass. And along this straight stretch of road here, you can get some good views. If you're sitting on the right side, you can see Bridledale Fall. If you're sitting on the left side, you can see a waterfall about 1,000 feet higher than Bridledale, which is called Ribbon Fall. And there isn't very much water, and it's getting less and less every day, but you can see up to the top where the sun is lighting up the water coming down, and that drops 1,600 feet.
Sí, amor. Busca, fíjate hasta más arriba, hasta más arriba.
And if you can't see Bridledale Fall, look to the right, and look ahead of us there on the waterfall. You can see it on the back of the waterfall. You can see El Capitan on the waterfall too. Back at Tunnel View, I looked at El Capitan with the binoculars to see if I could find those climbers that we saw this morning, and I couldn't find them.
¿Lo viste, hermano?
Sí.
Mira, te lo voy a acompañar.
In Yosemite Valley, you can see a lot of evidence of glaciation. And if you look down to the left as we get to this pull-out area on the left, in the middle of the river is a huge boulder. And if you look at that boulder, it has big knobby crystals in it, unlike the granite around it. And John Muir used that as evidence that this valley was carved by glaciers because the granite looks just like that 20 miles from here up to Grand Canyon and the Eagle Range. So that boulder was brought all that distance in the glacial ice when the ice melted left behind there at the middle of the river, the west end of the valley. Looking down at the river, you see how the river is calm. Then it starts to cascade over some boulders, and right there is where that terminal moraine was. And behind that terminal moraine, the ancient Lake Yosemite filled in the whole valley at the end of the glacial age about 10,000 years ago. But then, over thousands of years, the lake filled in with sediment coming down from above. But then in the 1850s, when the first European Americans arrived, they found the valley to be very wet, and standing water in the meadows bred mosquitoes. So they thought that this place would be a better place to live if they blasted a hole in that moraine to lower the water table to dry out the meadows. And they succeeded in doing that, and as a result, today we have just about 20% meadows and 80% forest. Back in their time, it was about 80% meadows and just 20% forest. So the drier conditions enabled the trees to grow into the meadows, and so now they're a lot smaller. looking to the left through the trees, you can get, you can see pretty much the whole of the El Capitan. And you can also see in that side that's in the shadow, a big area of darker colored granite that's called the North American Wall. That's kind of the shape of North America.